Have you ever felt like you're just a small note in a big, chaotic world? Like no matter what you do, your efforts seem too small to matter? But what if I told you that every great symphony, every masterpiece, starts with just a single note? This is the story of Noah, a boy who lived in a silent town where dreams were forgotten, and ambition was nothing more than an echo of the past. He didn't know his talent, he didn't know where to begin. But what he was about to discover would change everything. Noah lived in a town where silence ruled, streets were empty of laughter, homes echoed with routine and dreams. They were nothing more than fading whispers. Every day felt the same. Wake up, go through the motions, sleep, repeat. He had no special talent, no direction, just an invisible existence in a world that never seemed to notice him. But deep inside, there was something, a feeling he couldn't explain, a longing for something more, something beyond the ordinary. Then one day, everything changed. While wandering through the town's abandoned marketplace, Noah stumbled upon an old, dusty instrument, forgotten and untouched. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't new, but for some reason, it called to him. As his fingers brushed against the strings, a single note echoed through the silence. Software imperfect, but alive. For the first time in his life, Noah felt something shift. He didn't know it yet, but that single note was the beginning of his symphony. Noah held the instrument in his hands, unsure of what to do next. He had never played before. He didn't even know if he could. But something inside him whispered, "Try." So he did. At first, the sounds were messy, notes clashing, rhythms breaking, fingers stumbling. It wasn't music, it was noise. Doubt crept in. Maybe this isn't for me, maybe I'll never be good enough. But just as he was about to put the instrument down, an old man's voice stopped him. "Every great symphony starts with a single note," the man said. "But only those who keep playing get to hear the melody." Noah looked up. The man was a former musician, someone who once believed in dreams, before the silence took over. Encouraged, Noah kept going. Day after day, he practiced. Mistakes? Plenty. Frustration? More than he could count. But with each failure, he found something unexpected. Progress. His fingers grew stronger, his rhythm steadier. The noise slowly shaped into something real. And for the first time, he wasn't just playing notes, he was creating music, but just as he started to believe in himself, life had one more test waiting for him. Noah had finally started to understand music. His fingers moved with confidence, and his melodies carried emotions he had never been able to express before. But just as his world was filling with sound, it all came crashing down. One evening, as he played in the town square, a group of people gathered. At first he thought they were listening, maybe even enjoying it, but then laughter. "What is that noise?" someone sneered. "Music! More like a mistake!" another mocked. The words stung deeper than he expected. Doubt returned, stronger than before. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. That night he put his instrument down, convinced it was over. The silence of the town felt louder than ever. Days passed. He avoided the marketplace, ignored the melodies in his mind, and convinced himself that dreams weren't meant for him. But then, something unexpected happened. As he walked through the empty streets, he heard a sound, faint, fragile, but real. A child sitting on the steps, plucking the strings of a broken instrument. It was off-key, imperfect, but Noah saw himself in that sound, and in that moment he understood. It wasn't about playing perfectly, it wasn't about impressing others. It was about the love of the music, the journey, the passion. He picked up his instrument once more, and this time he wasn't playing for the crowd. He was playing for himself, and that changed everything. Noah played, not for applause, not for validation, but for the pure love of music. And something magical happened. The same town that once drowned in silence started listening. At first, just a few, a child who had never heard real music before, an old man who had long forgotten the sound of dreams, a passerby who stopped just for a moment to hear something different. Then more people came. One by one they gathered, not to judge, but to feel. Noah's music wasn't perfect, but it was real, and that made all the difference. The lifeless streets began to hum with new energy. The silence that ruled for so long started to fade. Others picked up old instruments, ones they had abandoned long ago. Noah's journey from a single note to a symphony had become more than just his story. It had become a spark for others. Because that's the power of persistence. That's the power of believing in yourself when no one else does. And as Noah played his final note that evening, he realized his music wasn't just changing his life. It was bringing life back to the world around him. Noah's journey wasn't about talent. It wasn't about luck. It was about one simple truth. Every great symphony begins with a single note. Maybe right now you feel like Noah in the beginning, lost, doubtful, afraid to take that first step. But remember this, progress isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, trying, failing, and trying again. No matter where you are in life, your story isn't over. Your melody is still being written. So what's the first note you'll play today? Because one day, when you look back, you'll realize it was never just a single note. It was the start of your own symphony. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your journey is just beginning.